I have to just read that because they really just. Oh, give me a second. Oh yeah, he's booked.
Wow. Hello, everybody.
He was booked at 7:24 a.m.
Give me 1 second. I have to make sure
Booked.
that I get the title
7, 8, 9, 10.
right.
No, he was booked. According to the site,
Give me 1 second,
it's saying he
people.
was booked on today, 12/15/2025 at 7:24 Pacific. So that's 8, 9, 10. So just in the last 15 minutes, he's been booked.
Right. This is about Rob Reiner's son, everybody, and I figured I want to get the live thing going. I have to retitle my video really quickly to make sure that everybody understands this is about a subject matter that relates, of course, to the latest developments in the case of the killing of Rob Reiner.
Son has been booked.
And I'm watching currently JLR.
About 15 minutes ago.
I'm going to go into...
You hear the arrest first on JLR Investigates. I'm looking on YouTube. The only videos from mainstream media really is, family member did this possibly, but nothing about the arrest of the son.
Yeah.
He is booked. Son is booked. The son's arrested for this. It's all common.
So this is just me playing it by ear right now. Hey guys,
literally,
I'm gonna put up the chat room.
I can't imagine. It's bad.
Let me see if I can change this.
Also, I got
edit this a little bit.
I'm gonna move myself down. There he is. There's the booking information.
Hey guys.
So, son has been booked.
Nick Reiner.
You know, that press conference last night was pretty hardcore outside the Reiner home. I mean, media peppering him with questions. But I also have a more recent photo of the son. I'm looking for his mugshot too.
That'd be good. Give me 1 second. I'm just coming on right now. And I figured that, this is actually something. I have a few other videos ready for you guys. What the hell? Okay.
They're reporting it now on the scene.
I have a few more videos for you guys later on. But at this time, simply because this is such a high profile case, man, I'm really, really into it, if you can call it that, because the whole thing is just really, it's absurd. Today I watched an older interview that I actually posted where Rob Reiner and his son were together, interviewed for a movie that his son had written for. And I think that...
All right, so now they're on the scene reporting it too.
I'm really interested though.
So the wind, it's we were going to come on this morning anyway just to talk about it, but as we were preparing to come on, it broke that the son has been officially arrested. So I'm like, holy smokes.
Yeah. Hey guys, hey Krista. Yeah, go ahead.
Crazy. So
I actually
wanted
to more or less do this. So
like that. They might have their evidence and everything. They might have all they need.
This
and another thing too is the coroner team there.
This is very spontaneous on my part, guys, because again, I have pre-recorded a couple of videos. In an hour, I'm going to share more information about Somerville's, which I discovered a couple new things that I'm very, very, very interested in. And in the meantime, of course, the story is Rob Reiner's son is now arrested, and he is going to, it looks like there was a heated argument. Whenever somebody's being attacked with a knife or killed with a knife, it indicates that there's a personal Yeah, it indicates that it's something very, very personal, usually.
We're sharing what happened. We're sharing what happened inside the Reiner home. Man, scary stuff. "32-year-old white male Nick Reiner arrested for murdering."
Yeah.
Now, the president of the United States put something out interesting. He has mixed feelings about Rob Reiner, considering the stuff that Rob Reiner has been saying, on social media about Trump, president of the United States. I'll read what the president said about Rob Reiner. He says, "A very sad thing happened last night in Hollywood. Rob Reiner, a tortured and struggling but once very talented movie director and comedy star, has passed away together with his wife, Michelle, reportedly due to the anger he caused others through his massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome, sometimes referred to as TDS." Whoa.
He said that for
Very
real?
different than what a lot of the celebrities out there put out there. It goes
Wow.
on to say, he was known to have driven people crazy by his raging obsession of President Donald J. Trump with his obvious paranoia.
Yeah, I think that that Rob Reiner's son, I think that he probably wanted money. I think that's pretty much what he probably blamed his parents for a lot of things. He probably wanted money to support his habit, and likely was turned down. I mean, this is a very, very possible scenario that I can see, guys. I can see that, like, I'm trying to change the title here. Should I do this again? Yeah, maybe I'm gonna shut off and turn this and do this again, because well, let me read your comments for now. So this is a spontaneous decision. I'm hoping to get some info from you guys also, if there's anything more. The strange thing is that earlier I watched this video. Let me show you real quick. And it was eerie, where Rob Reiner and his son are talking in an interview. I posted this video on my profile, made a quick comment about it.
What was the toughest for you? What do you think, Nick?
It wasn't very tough. I mean, it was pretty nice experience for me. I don't really think.
So this is him, Nick Reiner, and he wrote a screenplay, or he co-wrote a screenplay for a movie called Being Charlie. I watched a little bit of it. And it is semi-autobiographical about a guy who's let me show you. Let me see if I can actually pull it up. basically it was about his own life. But the guy in the video, the father in the video, was not a producer, he was a politician. And played by Cary Elwes. I guess this is how you pronounce his name.
For some people, it takes a while. It's like,
By the way, let me listen to this right now. I want to play this for a minute.
it was like tough at all.
Really?
I mean, of course, it was a little bit, but
I mean, we did get into fights over things, but ultimately it forced us to make the film better. I mean, we get into issues, and I would see, he would. The whole process for me, I can just speak for myself. It did make me understand him a lot more, and I think it made me a better father. Hopefully, it did. I don't know, but
Yeah, he's looking down. He's not with it, man. And this, of course, is probably because, I mean, like I say, I don't know how to feel about certain circumstances when there is major drug use involved. And it's a form of escapism, of course. It is the ultimate form of escapism. And I think escapism is the enemy of our society. When people try to run away from whatever really issues that they have, because they sometimes think, whatever the issues are so big, they can never be solved. And I have this, for me, it's an uncertain, I don't know how to properly relate, but I'm going to listen a little bit to the language that Nick Reiner used. And again, for those of you who just come in right now, Nick Reiner has been arrested for the murder of his parents. And there was a heated argument before.
I think that, and you'll see it in the film. What happens is, your kid, if your kid is going through rough times, the parent is, your main job is to keep your child safe. So I would do anything. I felt at a loss. So I would do anything that, as we say in the film, anybody with a desk and a diploma, I would listen to them. And the whole idea of tough love and you have to be a certain way. And it's not my nature. It's not the way I am built, but I went and did that, and I think that.
Yeah, he seems way mentally off. You are so absolutely right, GSP. I feel this. He seems disconnected, and it seems like he is just going along and saying whatever his dad wants to hear. And that, of course, is a brutal situation. And, this is indicating that a person who is not his own man, for the lack of a better way to express it, somebody who is pretty much tied financially, on the one hand, he's spoiled, but on the other hand, he's privileged, but underprivileged in other ways. And he's definitely not with it. He's not being honest. He's not being open. He's going along. His father is the boss. He's not his own man. He sort of tiptoes around him. And this is not a good place for somebody to be. And again, he was 32. He is 32 years old and didn't do anything. He didn't create his own life, so to speak.
At the end of the day, I know my child better than an expert does, and I probably should have trusted my own.
I wouldn't be so sure, dude. And the assumption to know somebody else is very dangerous. It's very dangerous to ever assume that you know what's really going on in somebody else's mind. And the fact that Rob Reiner made this comment here is sort of indicating to me that there was just way too much misunderstanding, way too many assumptions, that maybe he wasn't able to express himself in a way that he wanted to express himself and tell you what's really going on. And I think that the finances had a lot to do with it, that his dad was giving him money. From what I understand, he stopped giving him money. And that's when the incidents took place that we now hear all over the place, of course.
Instinct. And that's one of the things I did learn about the whole experience.
I think the bonding came not from the story itself, but from the fact that we were working on a movie together, and I could see him and I would think, in the form that he could express himself the best, which is making movies, because he has so much experience. Okay, I should probably
out there into the public and enable a career on his own. But the only way that he saw it possible was for him to write a story about his screwed up life at the time. You know what I mean? Which, again, I'm not sure this is a good thing. He's I don't, damn if you do and damn if you don't, right? So on the one hand, of course, yeah, I put money in a position, but I don't think anything good came of it. From what I understand, and he co-wrote 2 movies. He was involved in 2 different, his own man, so to speak. And he went back and forth into the habits that he had. For people, of course, I mean, you have this mansion in Brentwood, close to where OJ used to live, and you have this upbringing of I mean, I don't know how much money Reiner was worth. I mean, hundreds of millions, for sure. Controlled very hard on some people in his personal life. Now, he talked about being depressed and having mental issues. He was in Howard Stern. He talked about how much therapy he needs. And I always feel like, wow, if the combination of being messed up but having a lot of freaking money at the same time may not make it easy for somebody to live with the person. I'm looking at all the different angles, and I'm not making excuses for anybody, but I do believe that if you unalive your parents, we need to think about what made a bad situation even worse. It's easy to say, okay, he's a bad child, he flip-flop. I don't do that. I don't do flip-flopping. I want to know the whole truth. I want to know what was, from his perspective, what was it like for you to grow up? And I think that maybe he didn't have an ability to, connect with people on the level that he wanted to. Rob Reiner was in therapy all the time. He talked about it with Howard Stern. He talked about it, extensively. But I'm not sure that this kid, and I don't know how old he was in this, he's definitely not being genuine, people. Definitely not.
Sorry, I'm responding.
We should probably shut up and listen to him, because he knows a lot more about this. He knows.
Yeah, and ass washing is not a good idea, people. It's not a good idea. He seems like to have surrendered. I think it would make more sense for him to be a little more challenging and saying, this is a story about my life. You guys don't understand what I've been through, even though he may not have a right in the eyes of many to do that. But he just completely surrenders, like, this is my dad. He knows everything. I don't know anything. It's not good to be in this position, to allow yourself to be in that. Not at all.
I don't know anything, so I'll learn.
Yeah, self-deprecation is also a dangerous thing. And of course, self-deprecation is not a natural there's an agenda behind it. It is not normal for a person to be self-deprecating. So, for example, if you're a comedian and you're struggling and you're trying to, get a few laughs and you don't know how to come up with. Kirk Douglas' son, for example, was a prime example. He died young. I'm talking about Eric Douglas, of course, not his famous brothers, but self-deprecation is a killer, in my opinion. There are people who make it a lifestyle to be self-deprecating, but when it's with your own father that you live with, it doesn't sound like a good match. Let me see your comments right now. I'm here. I'm looking for answers more than anything. Yeah, the daughter found him. His eyes are dark. Yeah, he's dead inside, man. I think he's thinking about the next fix or whatever he's thinking about. Hey, Heather. Yeah, I will check it out. I will check it out right now. I will see what you guys sent to me. And I will address it maybe right now. Oh yeah, about Madeleine McCann's father tells BBC how his family was. Oh yeah. Okay, check it out. I'm gonna check it out right now. That's interesting. Give me a second. I'm gonna keep this going.
Whatever he has to teach me.
I just think that's such a fascinating thing to say, that like your father, who you would always want to be at his best as your father, may be a type of person who's at his best when he's making movies, and that makes him more understandable or relatable as a father to you, which is so fascinating to me.
Yeah, that it really clicked for me because we didn't bond a lot as a kid. Like, he really liked baseball. I like basketball, and he could watch that with my brother, but baseball. But I just, when I saw him do that, and it was something that I'm interested in, I was like, wow, like he really knows a lot. And like, it made me feel closer to him and be like, yeah.
You're like, wow, my dad's Rob Reiner.
I never had.
Yeah, so this guy is like, okay, my dad's Rob Reiner. He is not starstruck, okay? And I think this is the one thing that a person interviewing them needs to recognize, that to him, this is just my dad who's doing his thing. I'm doing my thing. We don't connect. And yeah. Let me go into your message right now and let me check out the thing about Madeleine McCann that you sent to me from the father of Madeleine McCann. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna switch around based on what is hot. Because I haven't done the lives. I haven't done any lives for quite some time. So I'm interested in getting to know what you guys pay attention to. I have a lot more coming up on Summer Wells, but of course right now I am, sidetracked by this situation with Rob Reiner, and I hope I'm gonna get some statements. I'm listening to what the kid is really saying here. And self-deprecation to me is always a red flag. Self-deprecation goes into intention detection. When somebody is self-deprecating with me, my question is immediately, what do you want? Period. And as I said before, if there's a comedian on stage, he's self-deprecating, it spells desperation for me, right? If it's not a comedian,
when it comes to remote work,
oh, shut up. It's just you know, if it's somebody in personal life, I already know this guy has an agenda, some way or another. I'm not sure yet necessarily what it is, but it is not a natural thing for somebody to put himself down, you know, especially a man in front of another man. But let's see what's here with Jerry McCain.
These headlines and the hounding and the abuses damage people's lives. People kill themselves because of what's happened to them. People lose their livelihoods. Relationships are irrevocably damaged. There's damage on many, many fronts.
The hell is he talking about right now? Let me see your message so I understand the context. It says Madeleine McCain's father is calling for greater scrutiny in the UK media, telling the BBC that his family was subjected to monstering by sections of the press. No, these people, oh my God. He said the media is the reason that you're still free.
What toll has it taken on you and your family?
It took a huge toll, and obviously we had sustained interest and misleading headlines for 15 months or more that forced us to take legal action to stop it. But no one wants to go to court. You don't want these things happening. We're fortunate. We survived, and I do mean that. We survived. We are lucky we survived. We had.
Yeah, you survived. You're lucky. But did your daughter survive? You see, when they talk about themselves to this degree, and this guy is something else, people. This guy has been way out of whack, in my opinion, for many, many years. And he's been so protected by the media. I remember that woman who killed herself over being bullied over her telling the truth, over her desire to find out the truth. And there are so many stories. I mean, the things that I have watched about the case of Madeleine McCain, it is just unbelievable how much protection they have received. So, yeah, and okay, you survived. Not, you know, I mean, of course.
Tremendous support, but I can promise you there were times where I felt like I was drowning. And it was the media primarily, not the situation we were in being declared our Guido. We knew the legal process. It was what was happening and the way things were being portrayed, where you were being suffocated and buried, and it felt like there wasn't a way out.
Wait. Okay, what is coming?
Headlines and the hounding and the abuses damage people's lives. People kill themselves because of what's happened to them. People lose their livelihoods. Relationships are irrevocably damaged. There's damage in...
Give me 1 second so I can listen to your message. Okay, tell me more.
Many, many fronts.
What toll has it taken on you and your family?
It took a huge toll, and obviously we had sustained interest and misleading headlines for 15 months or more that forced us to take legal action to stop it. But no one wants to go to court. You don't want these things happening. We're fortunate. We survived, and I do mean that. We survived. We are lucky we survived. We had tremendous support. But I can promise you there were times where I felt like I was drowning. And it was the media primarily, not the situation we were in being declared arguido. We knew the legal process, it was what was happening and the way things were being portrayed, where you were being suffocated and buried, and it felt like there wasn't a way out.
Yeah, they gotten away with it. And one thing that happens after somebody gets away with something, and you can look at the case of Casey Anthony, for example. She now wants to have a different image. She now calls herself an advocate. She calls herself activist for women. And these people in the beginning are very happy they gotten away with something. They're very happy with being protected. But eventually, this will change. They will think about how many people are still thinking about them in a way that they don't want them to think about them. Give me 1 second, guys. And I'm here. Say, yeah. So if you have more on the Jerry McCain thing, feel free to send it my way. So I want to see what's going on with, give me a second for the latest on,
Felony charge
I'm going to
after parent's death. Well, numerous media outlets are saying it's in connection with the death of Rob and his wife, Michelle, whose, according to reports, their throats were slit. Horrible.
Yeah,
there's a lot of people out there.
Make no mistake, this will be huge for months to come. This whole story. There will be a lot about Rob Reiner, and there'll be a lot of negative. There will be a lot of things that I think are going to come out about the whole
And
life.
then also in the chat, share your thoughts. Share your thoughts in the comments.
Again, it always is of interest to me when I can see how something deteriorates in terms of, is there, what is the breaking point? How is something escalating? And from what I understand, his dad supported him for years. and now made a decision which is actually dangerous. The decision was to cut him off financially. Again, this is something that I heard. I am not 100% on it, but this is what I understand. He finally said, I'm not going to give you any more money. And in my opinion, a financial cutoff can be equally dangerous as somebody leaving an abusive spouse. When an abusive spouse is being left and loses control over the person that he had control over for years, it's similar to, in my opinion, when somebody had a financial benefit and is all of a sudden told, you know what, this is it, dude. You're not going to get anything more. And that makes a lot
I
of
think
sense.
it's music coming from the streets. The reports are.
So again, nothing new here. It's really weird when, of course, on the one hand, I want to get on and learn about what is really happening, but then you have a lot of downtime. So bits and pieces I'm getting right now, I'm going to pass them on. And this is only from what I understand, that there was, of course, a escalation, and it was about money. Here he is, Nick Reiner.
Thought about it, and then
Yeah, it didn't cross your mind, right?
never.
Never watched A Few Good Men. Didn't see that one.
No, but it's interesting that Nick would talk about it in that way because.
Wait, let me hear this.
Brother, but baseball. But I just, when I saw him do that, and it was something that I'm interested in, I was like, wow, like he really knows a lot, and like it made me feel closer to him and be like, yeah.
You're like, wow, my dad's Rob Reiner.
I never had thought about it, and then
Yeah, it didn't cross your mind, right?
never.
Never watched A Few Good Men. Didn't see that one.
No, but it's interesting that Nick would talk about it in that way because, yeah, we did share that experience, but even though I've had a lot of experience making movies, and I said this to him many, many times that he was the heart and soul of the film. So when it came to making the film deeper and better, I would have to really defer to him. I mean, even though I have had all this experience in making films, the core of this film, I really had to look to him. I relied on him for giving it the honesty and the truth that it has.
Did you work with him on set? Were you on set for the majority of the shooting?
I was on set with him.
No, sorry, go ahead.
I have no idea what I was going to say.
No, he was there every day. I mean, we worked for a year before, helping craft a script, and then doing the whole shooting, and then post-production, he would come in the cutting room. I mean, we went through it together. There's no question.
I have to ask, you said it's the most personal project that you've ever been a part of, and I think when people watch an hour and a half movie, they can sort of feel the personal aspect from the filmmakers, or that it's a personal project. But
by the way, the movie is called Being Charlie. I watched part of it. I get bored with movies. I'm really bored with movies because I feel like there's enough make-believe in the real world that I am simply, more interested in facts as they come my way. So I got the idea what the script was about, but again, to me, it's not something that exciting. But what is interesting to me, of course, is how Rob Reiner and his son related to each other on a personal level, and Rob talked so much about Donald Trump, and this is not for me I avoid completely, anything related to politics. But I will say that much, that sometimes the people who are so vocal criticizing others, it can be that they are also avoiding to deal with situations that are closer to home. Many times that is the case, that people it's a world of escapism that we live in. And many times the people who try to be a savior or try to, from their own point of view, from their own understanding, from their own, Jim Carrey, same thing for a while, I believe, you know what I mean? And he at least said, yes, I'm obsessive when it comes to that, when it comes to talking about Donald Trump. But I'm not surprised that somebody who, and again, everybody, it seems like everybody has somebody in their family, who's been problematic, and people get through it. But the level of how problematic a relationship had been, that is really at essence, and in this case, we have, of course, a situation that escalated in the death of Rob Reiner. So it was similar about Alec Baldwin, when he had all of, oh my God, and he was very, critical. Again, it was about Donald Trump. It's not for me to take sides, and it's boring to me, by the way. Politics is boring to me because, I've lived long enough to realize that it's always going in cycles anyways. That's how as far as I will go with a statement about that. But I realize that oftentimes the people who are too vocal about somebody else, they will wind up. Yeah, when you find out, more about them, there's a lot being covered up, and escapism is really all about that.
As a filmmaker, as you said, it takes a year, it takes 2 years. There are certain objective things that you have to do as a filmmaker that completely remove the personal, and most of filmmaking can be that part of the job. How do you remain?
This movie was a pity party project, I agree. Have you watched it? I couldn't continue watching it. It's called Being Charlie, and I could not continue watching it. To me, it is really depressing. It's really tiring. I cannot, movies like that are not really doing much for me.
Personally attached to the project, how do you maintain that sort of little personal spot in your brain when there are so many decisions and so many things you have to do on a day-to-day basis in a project like this that are not personal?
Well,
and again, this interview would be boring as hell to me as well. I would not be able to suffer through this because who cares? You know what I mean? Who cares? But of course, now it becomes interesting to me because I am looking for an in. I'm looking for a way to get into the relationship that Rob Reiner had with his son. And by the way, his dad, Carl Reiner, he just died a few years ago, right? He gave an interview. He was actually on Norm Macdonald's podcast maybe 8 years ago, something like that. And he died not long after that.
Well, I mean, you do have the craft of being a filmmaker, so you do. There are certain grammatic, there's certain film grammar that you're going to use to tell a story. But I could never get away from the fact that it's personal because we're doing it together. Every time I look over, that's my son. There's my boy, and so that never goes away, no matter whatever craft I have. It's always there.
Nick, how involved were you with the casting and everything? I mean, this kid is amazing.
By the way, thank you, Dolores. Pledge you can apply even now in this situation. And again, I'm counting self-deprecation towards intention detection. So let's continue and see what we can recognize when we hear Rob Reiner's son speak.
Amazing in the film. He's an incredible lead. I've never seen him.
People know Nick Rob.
And by the way, this is a really pity party self-deprecation type of project. And the only way for him to connect with his father was for him to write about his own personal experiences, being homeless in New Jersey and all over the place when his dad kicked him out, I guess, and what he went through, and putting it on public display. It's not a good thing. It's not a good thing to have to be in that position where your only way of connecting with your father is that you're talking about your own screw-ups and put it out for the world to see. It's not a good thing.
He was given good.
Yeah, he's a really good actor. I mean, he was in that Kings this summer, and he's in Jurassic World. He's a great actor, and Nick was there for all the casting. All of the auditions.
I was sitting there, but
yeah, but you always gave your opinion.
I was
Trauma bonding, yeah. Oh, really? He was allowed to give his own opinion? Yeah. Well, let's see. What else is there?
like I saw that girl Morgan Saylor on Homeland, and I think during the season she like went to rehab or something, and I was just like, oh, she's a perfect rehab girl.
Yeah,
that was the only.
He pushed for Morgan Saylor like crazy. Yeah.
You had a personal connection to her right away?
No, but
Just felt like you knew her.
felt like I knew her from some land.
Yeah.
No.
And this kid is, I mean, he carries the movie in many ways. He's in every scene of the film, and he's fantastic. How do you know when you're casting someone that they're going to be able to do that? After this long, you've worked with some of the biggest actors of all time, but you're casting a relatively unknown kid to carry the weight of a movie like this. How did you know that he was up to the task?
Well, you start with having an idea of who the character is, and in this case, even though it's not Nick, it's certainly an extension of him in certain ways. I have that in the back of my head.
Right.
I'm looking at an actor, and I want to see if he has the qualities, some of the qualities that I see in Nick in terms of his honesty and his depth and the way he plays things. And then, to be honest with you, he auditions, and in the case of Nick Robinson, he auditioned with the guy that plays his friend in the movie, Devin Bostic, who plays Adam. And they clicked immediately. It was like as if they had known each other for forever. And I said, "Ooh, that's what it needs to be. It needs to feel like that."
Mm.
And another thing, other than casting, we all stayed at a hotel, the Hyatt House, at this, and we all hung out after every day. And that kid, when he first showed up, he had like a book about junkies. He had like watched some YouTube, and he started asking me questions about it. And I would try to fill him in as best as possible. But since the writing was done by us and Matt, he kind of got our sensibilities. So did Devin, from just hanging out with us, try to help him with that in that sense.
Yeah, absolutely. The father in this is a former Hollywood actor, now turned politician. So he's got one foot in Hollywood and one foot in politics.
Yeah, this is so lame. I mean, he was able to connect with his dad again, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna read your comments to see what you guys are saying here.
This seems like as this character, as Charlie was an extension of Nick, this seems like this character could be an extension of you, Rob.
Yeah.
You sort of.
Well, that was the idea.
And what makes him so odd, GSP, is that he's not genuine. When people are not genuine and you're not able to read them properly because of it, you don't know what. I agree with you. Having this guy as a roommate would be very, very. Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
I wanted to portray a character that was somewhat like me. I mean, it's not exactly like me because hopefully I'm not that big an asshole. But we wanted to have an antagonist.
And look at him when he says that. I'm not that big of an asshole. Look at his face, man. Look at him. How he's reading his dad right now. I can guarantee that there are certain things that are coming to his mind right now where he says to himself, yes, you are. Yes, you can be. Facial language is very important to me. Changes in facial patterns. And this one is, in my opinion, a strong situation, simply because the whole time he sort of looked down, he was self-deprecating, my dad knows everything, I know nothing, blah, 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 blah. But all of a sudden, when his dad says, I hope I'm not that much of an asshole, look at how he suddenly stares at him. There is a change in patterns. And in these moments, I am paying attention, guys.
We wanted to have there to be conflict between the father and son. And the fact that Carrie Elwes, who, was in Princess Bride, did this part, I felt really good because I had, kept in touch with him over the years and always looked for something to do with him. And I just felt comfortable that I could put the essence of me in his hands, and so.
Your son is on meds and put him in a hospital. Oh.
That was a good thing, but it's I do have a foot in politics, and I do, and I was an actor and all that. So we tried to make it as close to what we went through as possible, but it is a fiction. I mean, it is a fiction.
Well, I guess my question is, as a person who is a director and a producer, I mean, Castle Rock Entertainment, I don't know if people know, created Seinfeld, and it just in absolute classics of our generation there. Yeah, I was hoping you would do that. Did you find that at a time when Nick needed you, that you were also maybe really busy with a movie that you were working on? Because making movies, making TV shows does take a lot of work.
Well, here's the thing. Remember what Nick told us earlier? This is not a matter of time. This is not a matter of how much time did his father spend with him or did not spend with him. There are families where the dad is gone all of the time. Where the dad is a musician, he'll go on tour. He'll hardly be home for 6 months, but there is still the connection that is unbreakable. And there are the phone calls. And nowadays there's the FaceTiming or whatever messenger you prefer. The connection doesn't break. You know your father loves you. You know you're connected. You feel safe. You feel good. You feel like the family is complete and whole. But this is not what Nick Reiner told us earlier. He told us very directly, me and my father never connected. My father loves baseball, I love basketball. Well, who cares, right? About sports. Everybody has a different thing, but that came to his mind as an example of how, in general, him and his father simply never connect. And I believe that was something that really impacted him. And you combine this with him, that it's the emotional absence, more likely. But let's see what he says here.
On the set, reading the scripts, or just dealing with the business behind the scenes?
That's a better question to ask Nick, because I don't know if I was as available as I might have been, but that's something that you could answer. I mean,
what was the question? Sorry.
He wanted to know if being involved in show business and all that took me away from you to any degree that.
No.
Well, that's good. That's good to hear.
That's good to know.
And you know what? To some degree, I believe he's actually being truthful, because it didn't probably make that much of a difference to him if Dad was home or not.
Yeah.
How would you say this film differs from the past dramatic works that you've done? I mean, I think this one is definitely much more dramatic than most of your work, except for maybe like A Few Good Men or a couple of.
Oh, there's a lot of humor in this though too. I mean, there's a lot of big laughs in it, and
not in the 10 minutes that I watched it.
And I always felt like if you're going to do anything even that remotely mirrors the life experience, it's going to be funny and it's going to be tragic. I mean, there's some very dark moments in the film, but there's some also really, really funny moments. So the only thing for me, and I always tried to, even in Misery, there's laughs, I always try to find ways of getting humor in it. The thing that's different for this is that it's closer to the bone than any of the other films I've done.
So is Misery closer to the bone.
Closer to the bone, but in a different way.
You brought me there. I couldn't
I
couldn't
know,
help.
I know.
As soon as you said there were laughs in Misery, the ankle immediately appeared in my
the
mind.
big laugh.
Yeah.
When she breaks his ankle, laugh, riot.
Is it not that you would ever want to not have comedy in any of your projects, but having grown up in the comedy world, is it difficult for you to not have comedy, to not sort of be obsessed with comedians and stand up and joke telling?
Well, I mean, it's in my blood. I mean, it's the way I.
Now he's completely disconnected again. I'm going to run through this a little bit longer and see if there's anything, but I think it's, well, let me see.
View life. I mean, I'm not, the way my father.
You see, are you guys able to bond on a positive level, or is his drug use the only thing? There's nothing that. Anyways, I don't know what to say. I'm going to run through this.
There is.
I give you a few
he's
minutes.
more of a pure comedian. Nick was saying that the film that he likes best of the ones I did was Stand By Me. And, that makes me feel good because that film was the first film that really reflected my personality more than anything I've done. It's it has a moodiness and a melancholy to it, but it also has laughs and there's fun to it. So that's more my personality. And I always see funny things and also sad things. I try to blend the two if I can.
Nick, what about you? How often do you find yourself having the same sort of comic tenor as your father?
Well, I try to be funny whenever I can, but I don't really know. I don't know what that meant.
Well, when you're working on this script, did you feel like you had to sort of inject humor, or did you sort of find the humor organically?
No, there's so much funny stuff that happens in rehab, and a lot of funny people. Like, it's tragic and all, but the people that are there are not going to want you to throw them a pity party. They're going to want you to laugh at the situation and make light of it.
There's a great scene in it, in the movie when you see it, where the main character Charlie is gotten bathroom detail, and he's having to clean the bathroom, and he's with his friend there, and they're working. The two guys in rehab, they're cleaning the bathroom, and there's a dialogue between the two of them that's hysterical, and it's actually a conversation that Nick had with somebody that he encountered in, and so they put it right in the script.
Yeah, the confusion in that scene is very real, and I sort of got a sense when I watched it, like, this is a real conversation.
Yeah.
I can tell that this conversation
This actually happened
somewhere.
and he couldn't figure out what that. I mean, for those of you who haven't seen it, I don't want to give too much.
How would you
but
feel?
It's about a guy who gets sexual favors and also scores dope. And
It's a who's on first with heroin and hookers.
the other guy.
Yeah. So, I don't know. How would you feel in the situation, being him?
And the other guy can't figure out, well, what is the guy who's giving you the favors? He's also giving you the dope. What is he getting out of this? And he couldn't figure it out. So it's pretty funny.
Rob, I have to ask, as we said that you're an actor and a director who's also had one foot in politics. After Indiana last night and cases this morning, how are you feeling coming to the end of this year's Republican primary and Democratic primary?
Well, it's probably the most bizarre political cycle I've ever experienced in my life.
Sorry, this is it for me, because I am not interested in his view of how the world should work. Let's say it like this. There are people I ask for advice. There are plenty of people that I am interested in what they think. And that is usually not because they, want to give me advice, but me asking for it because of something that they're doing right. So I am avoiding to listen to people who, in my opinion, are not qualified to help somebody.
Actually has been released as a crime scene.
Okay, let's see if JLR has something.
Domestic terror organizations in our country, such as Antifa and other radical groups like the Turtle Island Liberation Front. As the president made clear, recent attacks
Born in Brentwood around 3:40 yesterday afternoon. Reiner was 78 years old. His wife was 68. The couple had been married for 35 years. A spokesman for the family releasing a statement saying that it is with profound sadness we confirm the passing of Michelle and Rob Reiner, and saying that they are heartbroken by the sudden loss and that they ask for privacy during this unbelievably difficult period. It's not clear who first reported the death of the couple. The LA Times reports there was no sign of forced entry into the home. Also, earlier in the evening, an LAPD officer told Kate.
Yeah, that's kind of a giveaway, right? Robbery, homicide, okay, but no forced entry. Yeah.
TLA that the couple had suffered lacerations consisted with knife wounds. All right, so there's a whole lot of information still yet to be gleaned from all this. We still haven't heard from the police department with the latest on the investigation, but we do know and we can confirm Rob Reiner's son, Nick Reiner, is in custody. It has been booked for the murder of Rob.
Now check this out.
Good morning,
What is
everyone. My name is Akil Davis, Assistant Director in Charge of FBI Los Angeles. I'm going to announce our speakers in order. It will be First Assistant United States Attorney Bill Asaley, myself, then Chief of Police Jim McDonald, Sheriff Robert Luna, and then Chief of Police for Palm Springs Police Department. So without further, we'll turn over to the United States. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm Bill Asaley. I'm the head of the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Central District of California. Over the weekend, my office, along with the FBI, arrested members of a far-left, anti-government domestic terror cell who self-identify as the Turtle Island Liberation Front. The individual
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
anti-government moves that call.
I don't care.
Michelle, according to TMZ, was having issues with Nick just for months. They didn't know what to do because.
Okay. Rob and son Nick in heated argument at Conan O'Brien's Christmas party. Now these are things that, okay, I'm paying attention to. So after their relationship has not been great between them, it was getting probably worse and worse and worse. So the escalation process. Says family sources, Michelle had been telling friends the last few months that she and Rob were at their wits' end over Nick's mental illness and substance abuse issues and didn't know what to do. Got it. Well, I don't know how to feel about all this.
Because of mental illness and substance abuse. And then on Saturday night, something happened at Conan O'Brien's Christmas party. And they were in a heated argument. And then the Reiners left. Don't know if Nick left. Next day, 3:30-ish, 4 p.m., their bodies were found here with their throats slit.
Oh, yeah.
And their bodies was found by their daughter. What's going on here? We might get an update here shortly, but whoa, this is scary stuff.
I agree.
People Magazine has been reporting, about the son and years of, drug abuse, mental illness, homelessness, struggles. Wow. They were at their wits' end over Nick's mental illness.
Yeah, and I can see where when somebody's in his 20s or teens or early 20s, it's kind of like it's often overlooked. Like, yeah, it's a part of growing up or whatever. People make mistakes, but I can see when somebody gets to the age of the early 30s and it still continues the same way. Yeah, it can be like, what should we do?
So outside the home of the Reiners, police probably be giving a press conference soon. We shall see. Because media outlets are now putting up. Oh, wait, might be something different. A foiled terror attack. I think they're talking about a foiled terror attack. So we might not be getting that. It actually came up. It said about Rob Reiner, and now they're saying something about a failed terror attack. Though we could go to it to see what in the heck that's about in the meantime.
I don't care. Sorry, don't care.
It's certainly an upper class community. These are extremely nice homes. There are very prominent security system logos outside of basically every driveway here. It's not necessarily a neighborhood that would say you might be covering a double murder, which would probably makes it all the more shocking for people. We continue to see people in patrol vehicles for security systems, not even law enforcement, just security workers that are patrolling this neighborhood here too. And so for this to happen in such a neighborhood is especially shocking, but really any kind of double murder like this, especially when it does appear that perhaps
Nothing is shocking to me.
Son of the victims may be in custody, not for sure, but
in this investigation. So, what has the son said? Was the son involved in the 911 call? I'll tell you, Diane, that's not uncommon for adult children who kill their parents to turn around and report, infect themselves to 911. So we'll see if that is there. Has he said, the son, has he said anything about the issues with his parents, and maybe even has given them a statement? I mean, it tells you volumes because the bond is so high at $4 million. I think that's where this case is going in that regard. But going back to your question, what do they have in addition to maybe a statement from the son, to the TikTok of everything that went on at this location? Where the knife, it's been reported there was a knife involved. I don't know if that's true. Let's just say it's true. Where did it come from? Was it one from the house? Was it one that the suspect brought? Again, trying to put, if it's the son.
That's not so important.
You could put him in the house. Now,
well, yeah, premeditation, yes or no. But you see, in a situation like that, I don't see... this seems more an emotionally based... Well, let me listen.
I'm sure he's been in the house a number of times. But the point being, was he in the house when this occurred? It's all of those things tying a suspect through motive, through a weapon, through a location, through cell phones, etc. All of that, LAPD and the district attorney in Los Angeles are pulling together as we speak.
Brad Garrett, Trevor Alt, thank you both.
This is Louis V, a 4-month-old Nazi poo in refinement. He's being finished as a curated companion.
News clips are putting up as if a presser might be coming up here in the next 5 minutes. We'll wait and see of what's going on. Yeah, I think a presser's coming up here shortly. Something.
With 3 minutes, we need Alex right now. Okay.
All right, so
at the party, Rob and Nick got into a very loud argument. Yeah, maybe alcohol was involved and Nick. Yeah. Wow.
The bombshell report that you see there on the screen that we've had for 5 minutes while that clip is up is Rob and son Nick in a heated argument at Conan O'Brien's Christmas party. That is the information being put out by TMZ. So we might have a motive here of how this all started. And what it's saying is Rob Reiner, his wife Michelle, and their son Nick attended Conan O'Brien's Christmas party Saturday night. At the party, Rob and Nick got into it.
We confirmed it by looking at the sheriff department. They have a database of inmates, and Nick Reiner is listed as in custody. Now, Rob Reiner and his wife, Michelle Singer, were found dead at their home here on Chadbourne in Brentwood around 3:40 yesterday afternoon. Reiner was 78 years old. His wife was 68. The couple had been married for 35 years. A spokesman for the family releasing a statement saying that it is with profound sadness we confirm the passing of Michelle and Rob Reiner, and saying that they are heartbroken by the sudden loss and that they ask for privacy during this unbelievably difficult period. It's not clear who first reported the death of the couple. The LA Times reports there was no sign of forced entry into the home. Also, earlier in the evening, an LAPD officer told KTLA that the couple had suffered lacerations consisted with knife wounds. All right, so there's a whole lot of information still yet to be gleaned from all this. We still haven't heard from the police department with the latest on the investigation, but we do know and we can confirm Rob Reiner's son, Nick Reiner, is in custody and has been booked for the murder of.
Okay, let me go forward and then I'm going to shut it off if there's nothing else. Unless there's something I'm missing, if you guys get anything.
Of this operation. And like I said before, there's no other area like here in LA County with our partnership that has been here for years with the FBI and LAPD and the other law enforcement agencies around us. Since this threat was uncovered last week, our sheriff's task force officers and intelligence analysts working closely with our law enforcement partners have been working around the clock to verify information, identify targets, and piece together this plot that you've heard described. Their strong investigative efforts, sharp situational awareness, and rapid response ensured that this threat was stopped before it ever had.
Okay, bye.
Custody after the murders of the actor and director.
Yeah, I think
and
I got nothing
Michelle.
else, guys. I think there's nothing new right now. And I'm going to later post a video about some of us. Who's this? Oh, what's his name? Perez Hilton. He's back.
Every update is more.
I haven't seen him in years, like 10.
Than the next. Hello, my friend. It is Perez.
Okay, I don't care. Thank you guys for. Okay, I'll watch him.
As the queen of all media, the original influencer, and as I sadly was the first to exclusively report earlier today, iconic director Rob Reiner, responsible for Stand By Me when he died, and his wife, Michelle, were murdered.
I know he's old Hollywood. Actually, it's been 15 years since I remember him. And then he disappeared for like 10 years, right? Why was that? I don't remember. Did something happen? Did he say something that upset people? I don't remember exactly. Yeah, so I guess he's back now. All right, I listen to him. Just for old time's sake.
In their home by their son, savagely. Nick Reiner used a knife to get rid of his parents forever. We don't have a motive. We do know that he struggled with severe substance abuse and even homelessness.
Yeah, and again, a motive has to be a motive for him, for it to be a motive. So a lot of people will say, what the hell is your problem? You grew up in a mansion, you have everything that you need. But no, things are not like that, people. We don't know what, because you know why? Because he didn't know a different life. So I'm always very, very careful when, the moment that people say, well, he shouldn't be like this because his life was pretty perfect and he's just spoiled and he's a brat and this. No, guys. I look at this in a different manner. Because when you are growing into a family, it doesn't mean that your parents are, how do I express this? Feel free in chat to take over and if you think you know what I'm trying to get to, express it in your own ways. You see, what we care about also in linguistic analysis is to determine what people actually think and feel. So in the case of, in Nick's case here, I am interested in how he felt towards his parents, towards the end. And it doesn't have anything to do with making excuses. It has nothing to do with trying to justify something. All of these assumptions that people often make, where they say, yeah, you got to be careful with that because it's going to sound like, I'm interested in what went through a person's mind that particular moment. And, it's always the case, it's often the case where when you have the lifestyles of the rich and famous, so to speak, there are a lot of assumptions people make. And I learned this more and more, that what really goes on through the minds of people is, you're used to it. If you have a certain lifestyle growing up, you're used to it. It's nothing special to you anymore. You don't say every day, oh, I'm privileged. Maybe as you get older, that's how you become. That you say, wow, my life is pretty damn good. It could be a lot worse. You know what I mean? There comes a certain level of appreciation. But when you're a child growing up, and especially when you grow up in an area where other kids, your classmates are all wealthy, it's no big deal to you. It's no big deal that your dad is, you think about the things that are wrong at home. For example, not being able to connect with your father. And that's exactly what he said. And I actually want to hear this again after Perez.
Making this tragedy for who leave behind 3 other children who were married for decades.
Rob Reiner has 3 other children. I think they have 2 other children together. I think with Penny Marshall, he has a child.
Decades is the fact that they were discovered dead in their home by their daughter. My heart aches for Romy Reiner, who had to see this. And I am hearing that her brother Nick is currently in custody. And he is going to spend the rest of his life in prison where he belongs. Every update is more.
Okay, dude. Let's see one more time. This interview that inspired me to even go online right now, when I didn't plan it. And here we go.
No, sorry, I'm responding.
Oh, this is probably listen to him because he knows a lot more about this. He knows I don't know anything, so I'll learn whatever he.
Dangerous, man. When people are so self-deprecating, they're not speaking their real mind. minds. And that means they can internalize a lot of the things that they actually would rather express. And it can all come out at the wrong time and lead to devastation.
Has to teach me.
I just think that's such a fascinating thing to say, that like your father, who you would always want to be at his best as your father, may be a type of person who's at his best when he's making movies, and that makes him more understandable or relatable as a father to you, which is so fascinating to me.
Yeah, that it really clicked for me because we didn't bond a lot as a kid. Like,
yeah, this is a priority for him to say that he realizes that him and his father simply didn't bond. So that's where the disconnect began.
he really liked baseball. I like basketball. He could watch that with my brother, but baseball.
So in other words, your dad connected more with the others in your family, but not with you. You were an outsider. And you know, you may say, okay, big deal, basketball, baseball, but to him, it's important. This stands out to him when he's thinking about his childhood. So, yeah, poor little rich boy. These are the comments that are usually, you know, come about. But no, we have to look at him and his point of view and listen to him telling us how he was actually feeling, how he perceived for his childhood to be. So this is pretty much it now.
But I just, when I saw him do that, and it was something that I'm interested in, like he really knows a lot, and like it made me feel closer to him and be like, yeah.
Well, it probably made you feel smaller too, which is not a good thing. Anyway, anyhow, anywho, is there anything new? Is there something new that's coming out right now? Because if not, I'm going to shut this down and be back later with another video where I'm going to highlight things that have come out in the case of some. Hello to the new people. Thank you for coming. All that glitters is not gold. Yeah, definitely. Hey, Robin. Wow, now people are coming. I've been talking about Rob Reiner and, of course, his son, and how things could have gone so wrong. So I give you, if you have some new information for me, I give you a little bit to share it with me. Otherwise, I'm going to shut it off. And I'll see you guys soon, okay? Thank you so much. I'll be back. Bye.